Hello and welcome to this Swift programming video. My name's David Thorne. In this Swift programming video, I'm going to be talking all about how you can get the contents of a directory using the file manager. So with that said, let's just jump straight in. So as you can see right now, we have this this path here, users David Thorne, desktop, YouTube, Swift file manager. And this folder contains this one project, this Xcode project or this package, and this Xcode project, and it also contains another folder of files with a subfolder of other directory which is empty, and then a file called file.txt. Super interesting. So the aim of this is basically just to get the contents of this one file manager directory. So we're expecting it to be then files and then also YT file manager 01. And we can do that by saying manager, and we're going to say contents of directory at path. And so we have the path is then the parent directory. This is going to throw an error, so we have to say try. And if we're going to say try, we're going to we're just going to put it in a try catch, a do catch block. And I'm just going to say ignore the error, just for the sake of coming here. So this will return the contents. So it's going to return an array of strings of paths for or everything that's contained within inside this file manager. So once we've got these content, we can say content in contents, and I'll just say here content is equal to content. And when we run this, by no surprise, we should see content YT file manager 01.dstore, yep, here, and then files. Okay, and just for the sake of showing you then, obviously we've got that now, the contents of the directory, but in my opinion this is not really like a very safe way to do it, because if you start reading this one file here, it's not going to exist. All right, so I believe the best way to do this is then to say contents dot map. All right, and from there we can then say parent directory and just put a / on it, and then a plus. Obviously it's super even more cleaner way to do it than this, right? But now you can see content users here, and then let's just fix whatever this wants to have. There we go. So now we can see the full path to it. So if you are going to pass this information on, it wants to have like the absolute path. I mean, if you are working it on a relative state, so you know which directory you're already in, then that's fine. But predominantly, it's always worthwhile to create that full path as well, to send on any further if you need to. Right. So once we have that, we could then possibly say we only want to then have directories that are in there, or we can, for example, we might want to be able to say get the files and also then the directories. And I think a useful little way of doing this is just say get contents at path here, and we just take the string, and now we're going to return a files right here, and this is then going to be file. So it's then going to be then the folders here instead. And when we put this in here, we can say files is equal to string and empty, and then folders is equal to this here, and go from there. And we will then return files and folders, and obviously this can come up here like that, and that can come down there like that. So now as we go through this, we can now turn around and say is var is dir, and get an Objective-C boolean and say false. And here we can say if we know the file exists, because we've literally been told it exists by contents of directory. So we can just come here and say manager file exists at path, and we know the path is also fine, and we can say is dir and then pass it by a reference, and we can say if is dir boolean value. And now we can say folders dot append, and we can append 0. Otherwise, we can append files here and $0, right? And okay, so we want then path here instead, and we do path there, and path there, path there. Oh yeah, that's wrong. Sorry, we got contents. Content here is then content. That's better. Okay. So now we can just remove this contents, and rather than now when we come to this, we can say files and folders is equal to get contents and say parent directory, and for file in, it wrote it for us, file in files, print out file, and then file, and then we can say for folder in folder, print out folder, and then we can go folder here. So when we run this, we'll obviously see that we get of the two folders and then the DS store from here. So this is basically a simple way to be able to get the contents of a directory. And obviously if you wanted this to be on the file manager, you can then extend it to be on there instead, and we'll put it in here and to go from there. And now we can say manager.getContents, and it will work exactly the same. So you now know that you now know that you are extending the file manager to get basically the files and the folders sorted. Now it can be that you want to be able to go down even further and check the contents of that one directory as well. That adds a level of complexity here, which I'm not going to go into in this one video, but it's just a means of recursively calling this. Now be warned, I don't think it's a very good idea to like recursively call this get contents all the time, because you don't know how deep this one file is going to get. Obviously you're going to have a limit of how big that path is going to be. Well, you know that it's going to be 4096 bytes. So as long as all the time this path is less than 4096 bytes, you know that it's fine to be able to keep going down even further. But these are just things that you've got to think about when using recursion. You could far better just use a repeat while loop inside here to keep going down recursively. And a repeat while loop is way better than using a recursion, okay, when it comes down to CPU instructions and so on. So it's just a lot more efficient. Anyway, this is but these are things that you have to think about. You want efficiency, all right? With that said, I hope that you've got something out of this one video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Now, just a point to note, because you've watched all the way through to the end of this one video. As you can see here, I've released it. I've created this video on the 22nd of September. This video right now is going to be released on the 24th of September. Because I always only ever release one Swift programming video per day, but I tend to batch create them. Now, because of all of your support, I've now got the YouTube memberships, which I've decided that anyone that was willing to become a member of the channel can view these videos immediately. So you don't have to wait for them to come. When I make the videos, I upload the videos, boom, they are instantly available to you as a form of saying thank you to you. Why should you wait for the videos when you're willing to be a member? So just a point to note, if you don't want to wait for the content, then it's just a thing that you can possibly do by becoming a member and then getting these videos all at once. And it's also a nice way of saying thank you to me as well. But I don't need to thank you, all right? I don't need to thank you. I just thought if people are willing to become a member of the channel, which you don't have to, then it's at least a thing that I can give back to you as an initial thing. I'm probably going to add more perks in the future, but I thought that's the first perk that I'll have. With that said, if you've got any questions, feedback or concerns, then naturally let's start a conversation in the comment section down below. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. My name's David Thorne, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.